CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 62 of the Greatest Attorney Adventures. Last time, basically, we did another cross-examination with Ashley Graydon, and basically, he was proposing that that the blood splatter on McGilda's coat was caused by Windibank's blood. Even though we know it's actually it's Milverton's blood, but the court will not accept our evidence in that regard, because apparently they do not trust Sherlock. They will read his books, but they will not accept his findings and his chemicals. And so we are continuing on. By the way, and then Sherlock came in. He was disguised as a Bobby. He was disguised as a bailiff, and he gave us a Cat-Flapomator, basically, to make flaps on doors. Basically, Iris has created the powerful weapon. Yeah, even though this could potentially be used as a murder weapon, Iris puts it to the back of someone's head, and then boom, just door in the back of your head, you're dead. Death by door flap. We're at time already. I'm grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper.
I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast.
Is it really? I'm about to ruin your whole career.
The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile.
I wonder. Mr. Naruto!
Yes?
The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me? I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests... Okay, I want to save. Okay, there we go, just to be on the safe side. A cross-examination. Further cross-examination.
Objection! The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you must not cross-examine a new witness now.
The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness, rather to continue with the one of an existing witness.
What?
It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper.
Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel?
No, my lord.
So nobody can say anything then. If Bruno has to resume this cross-examination, Mr. Graydon.
The court is obliged to allow it.
This is absurd! Why? Why is this my life?
Yeah, Van Zeke's version of hell. He has to prosecute against trials involving Phoenix. Yeah, Van Zeke's, Van Zeke's isn't Edgeworth's ancestor. Edgeworth is Van Zeke's himself. Van Zeke's soul was reincarnated into Edgeworth's body so that he may suffer the fate of having to go up against become Phoenix's main rival.
I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it.
A single chance to present evidence.
If, following that, the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further. My lord.
Yes, my lord. A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruto, it's high time I fell in a dread fate. I leave this in your capable hands. hands.
Mr. Sholmes!
Yeah, frankly, I'm surprised that juror number 2 didn't jump to the defense of Sherlock.
To stand so insufficiently before the court is in a state of such high fever. Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or extraordinary lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers.
Strike a man when he's down, why don't you?
Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared?
Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down, or Iris. And I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of this trial.
Very well then. Under the terms I've outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
Yeah, I love this final one. It really does give some air. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I know that basically we have to use the Flapinator. I think this is the one we want.
Objection!
Yes, okay.
What on earth is that eccentric contraption, counsel?
Oh, that's my Cat-Flapomat, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can go through any door you can think of and make a new little door in the middle of it.
That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please, without their owners having to open the main door. I am sure we can all work that out for ourselves. But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door.
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with an hour hand.
Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine, in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windermere had taken place. That's right. According to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time.
Your assistant did what?
There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through that peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous! What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I say as much in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake? Yes, how could you? What?
Counsel, kindly say what you mean.
Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through. What? No!
Objection!
This is a farce! Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was...
Yes, it was created only after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistant using this device.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions, and
I am paranoid. I'm sorry. I want to make sure. Okay, good. I am recording. For a second, I thought that I didn't hit it.
this is the most serious act of vandalism.
For which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I had left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes.
Riddled with... Explain yourself, counsel.
The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the people in the storeroom door. Yes, that 50 girls shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident, that people did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. Ugh. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. Ugh!
Order! Is there any credence to this revelation?
Objection!
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize.
Exactly! This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. Did you seriously expect people to believe that that plaything can cut through a solid wood door?
Yes, I designed it very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors. It can even be used to pierce a human skull.
That's absurd! I don't believe that for a second.
Haha, I had a feeling you'd say that.
What?
Marky, go eat. Time for dinner. Well?
Ah!
Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling at the Old Bailey.
I'm not done yet. Don't not worry. This does not mean that the people in this old room do it. Windy Banks was made by your machine. And there's no way you could prove that he was.
No, but it's easy.
What?
The cat flaps my Cat-Flapomat creates are all a fixed size. And the dimensions of the people at Winterbanks are an exact match.
Ah!
Oh, Chick is lost for words.
Excellent work, Iris. Thank you.
And now it's my learned student's friend's turn to be at loss for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home.
Well, yes, that's true.
Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the people as dimensions are a perfect fit to this contraption. In that case, when was the people cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
Ah!
What's the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zieks? It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the people was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof.
Ah!
And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the people was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation.
Ah!
Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Zieks. Well, counsel?
Don't give up now, Runo. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through.
I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world.
Very well. The counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the people in the door of Winterbank storeroom was created after the event and not before.
Okay. Okay. As we can see, the door.
Take that!
There we go.
What are you? A print from that detective's infernal cameras again?
My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikatoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is that photographic print, Counsel.
This print shows a scene in the shot moments after the defendant entered the premises.
Agreed. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker.
But more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background.
Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. This is really quite remarkable. The door into the storeroom. It's completely devoid of a people and any description.
Ah! Mr. Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claimed to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no people in the door. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies.
Order! I am satisfied that the defense has submitted its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This testimony was clearly fallacious. That's not the only thing we know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. That woman tampered with a crime scene. You're my lord! Give me 5 minutes to ready my fleet. I am sailing my way over there, and I will intercept her ship and bring her back here. I will not let her escape. I will become a pirate. But more importantly, good lord, there's more, Lord Benzix? The defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer.
Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene. It's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true. But that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh, please, no! I don't believe this, but they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit.
Still, he can't worm his way out of it now.
Iris?
You know what they say. There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat is bolted.
Isn't that
right, Runo? As Hurley always says, once lie begets another. No, wait, that might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories.
Well, no matter who said first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, Counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency.
Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about. Namely, the point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously,
Has the cat got your tongue, witness?
The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the 2 burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Wait, Inspector Sulky. Yes, of course. The price is chock full of bond articles, and my lads have thoroughly examined them all. So I gave them the order to have officers working around the clock in shift so that we get through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door. How on earth is that possible?
Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zix?
Speak, Inspector.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you...
Permission denied.
Oh!
It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. And your pay, I think it's looking like it's in need of a trimming. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes.
Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon, you shouldn't have known about the existence of the peephole, which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by someone else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize I trust that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications.
Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before this testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's clearly only one person that could be.
Who is the person in question, counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Sulky.
Hey, my!
Objection!
You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend.
Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of this trial today.
Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency during our hour-long recess. While the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station.
And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such a time he was summoned?
Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. Now he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder.
You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received this information? So that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin?
Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Sulky. This is a blooming outrage! Why would I be giving away details of our investigation to this fella, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Had you forgotten that?
Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery. Which means the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions could have possibly occurred.
Ah! Oh, I just remembered something, Runo.
What is it, Iris?
There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Gina was testifying.
Oh yes, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGilded's music box from the scene of the crime, That's it! It was during that testimony. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then. You little K-Rog! You're making all this up! I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke? Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make more sense.
What deal, Counsel?
I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that, if found to be true, struck a deal of any kind with the witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance.
Where went on?
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with the accusations in this is this Nipponese student's specialty.
I don't do that.
But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence to support this diabolical claim.
Evidence?
Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal.
If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it.
Now, do you think it could be?
Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle.
I must press you for an answer now, Counsel. What evidence explains the nature of this alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness?
Okay. Okay. I know that it's the music disc. I know that's the box.
Take that!
Okay, there we go. I knew it was one of the two. Inspector Gregson. Inspector Sulky. Beside the murder, is it not true you've been working on another very important case? What? Are you good at now, Sunshine? Is it possible that another top secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? We'll answer that in the next episode. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do everything you want. Without, see you next time. Bye.